on a Friday morning, and I don't know, lots going through my head right now. I'm really excited to go flying today, but we're going to go to Sun River, and if you know anything about this channel, you know that place is has a meaning for me. So we're gonna pack up here and head on down to Sun River. This channel is about working on aircraft and flying those airplanes. So come take a seat and let's go for a flight. So before we go down to Sun River, I needed to explain a little history of mine. If you're not familiar or if you're new to this channel, I have been a airframe and power plant mechanic for three decades now, 30 years. And I went to A&P school directly out of high school, kind of dating myself a little bit, but I've worked for an MRO, a maintenance repair operator, and I'm on my second airline now. And I got my private pilot license in my mid-40s, and as a relatively low-time pilot, I really knew that I wanted to have and learn how to fly tailwheel. So a friend of mine had found this beauty, my friend Bill Rogers, and it was sitting in the back of a hangar, had laid idle, mostly idle, for 8 years, hadn't been annualed, and was in need of some refreshing, as it were. So I had made arrangements with the lady who was selling it as part of the estate of her late father's, and I went down to Camas, Washington, and I did a pre-buy. Deemed it airworthy enough to do a ferry flight, so I got that permit from the Portland FSDO, and my primary tailwheel instructor and another friend had flown down in his Cardinal, and we retrieved the airplane. The reason why we needed to do it as a flight was because Sheila at the time had no radios, had no transponder, and basically we just we needed to fly the buddy system to come back home. So when we got her on the ground, it was time to put her in the hangar and start really looking her over. And I knew that there was an issue with the fabric, so I had done some temporary repairs in Camas. And as it turns out, I actually needed to recover the wings. So the fabric pretty much just ripped itself off the wings, and the disassembly process and the recovering of the wings replaced a bunch of wiring. All the flight control cables were replaced. A new instrument panel was designed and installed. Intercom system, radios, transponder, and everything else you need to fly in this area legally. We did the first flight, and which was to reassure my tailwheel instructor that everything was going to be okay. From there, we did instruction, and to say the very least, I was not the best student, and it took several hours for her to feel confident in order to sign me off. And looking back on it, there could have been some better control issues, especially with the crosswinds, because almost immediately after getting my tailwheel endorsement, I flew this airplane on a trip out of state, got into the area of Sun River, Oregon, where it's extremely windy and gusty, and I was not very good at crosswind landings, and it was a very stiff crosswind landing. I got into the area, and I just so focused, you just get into that, like, I want to land here, I want to land here, and the winds just really weren't favoring landing to the north, and I did one pass and did a go around like I should have, and on the second time I came in, I planted both wheels on the ground and was rolling on the landing roll, and I just watched the center line just drift off and couldn't figure out why, and for some reason I just vapor locked. I jumped on both brakes and immediately flipped over. It was so sudden. It freaked me out at how fast it was. And now I'm upside down in the airplane, and it was just nothing to do but just, yeah, it was, the whole experience was so surreal. Wrecking an airplane is the worst feeling in the world. But however, I felt really invested in the airplane, and like an idiot, I went and bought the wreckage back from the insurance company and proceeded to bring her back from where she was being stored in Sacramento. I actually bought a 26-foot panel truck because I had some other stuff that I needed to have shipped. And I made one big trip out of it, and I had all of my stuff that I needed to move out of Texas. And I also swung by, picked up the airplane, and then with the help of Earl Allen out of Corning, California, I picked up all the pieces that I would need to put basically an airplane and a half back together again. So the fuselage is not the same. That was actually from another aircraft because it has the vertical, which I needed. I had the rudder kit already. I was going to replace the rudder skins, so I had all that. But the majority of the work was repairing the ribs in both of these wings. These are original. The struts on this side, on the co-pilot side, are original, but I had to get replacement struts for the other side. The front nose bowl and all the cowling and the motor mount are all from a donated aircraft. The engine got sent to Chris Cullum and Airworks, and I cracked the flange of the prop in 8 places. So as you see this airplane now, this is what she would have looked like coming out of the factory. And so some of the pluses are I have a better looking airplane. One of my cathartic moments was actually sitting down across the table from the FAA inspector, where he told me that he was really sorry for what had happened to me, but that he was really glad that he could sit across the table and actually talk to me. And in talking with him, he said that these are the kinds of things that happen commonly in an accident with tailwheel, and the only fix for that is experience. So if you've ever heard of a form called a 44709, that's the form that the FAA will put against a pilot to go back, do retraining, and then you have to fly a check flight with an FAA inspector. And I was actually able to find somebody who flew a Cessna 170 and also did instruction. So during this period of time, the accident was in August, and then by the time I got with Tony and his 170, the time of year was in like October, November. If you know anything about the Pacific Northwest, those are the worst months for weather for us. And we went up and we're flying in just some terrible conditions. I remember a time when I got to the airport before he did, and I'm watching airplanes just wallow and, you know, just shuck and jive through the air, and he pulls up and I go, "You seriously want to do this?" He's like, "Yeah, it'll be fine." I said, "It's your airplane, not mine." But we went up and flew in like just some terrible, I remember on one landing looking down at the sock, and it is straight out. It was just, no kidding, it was 15 knots, direct crosswind. And when I landed it and Tony looked over at me and was like, "That was all you, man," I was just like, wow, okay, so I'm learning how to land in a crosswind. And one of the most amazing things that we ever did was to take off with my feet flat on the floor. Yeah, and a tailwheel. We didn't use the rudders. We used all the adverse yaw coming from the ailerons. And learning the relationship of the ailerons in relationship to yaw is probably the most invaluable thing to learn for a crosswind landing. And other than like differential braking, I've used that one before at Troutdale, but these fundamentals have to be ingrained in you in order to be successful if you're going to be a pilot in heavy crosswinds. So with that, we will take this beautiful airplane back to Sun River and land successfully.
Prop. Clear!
State Airport Information, India, 1453 Zulu. Wind is 350 at 6. Visibility 10. Sky clear below 12,000. Temperature 13, dew point 8. Altimeter 3021. Visual approach runway 34 left in use. Landing and departing runway 34 left and 34 right. Notice to airmen. Hazardous weather information for Western Washington. Day 1 flight service frequencies. 5G NOTAMs are in effect. Contact flight service additional details. Pain to VOR out of service. Advise on contact. User information India.
Controls, instruments, gas, flaps, trim, prop, radios, run them complete, are complete. Wheel ready to go. Main tower, Stinson 90250 kilo at 34 right, box 5, ready to go for southwest via park departure.
And that was November 90250 Zulu kilo?
9250 kilo.
90250 kilo, roger. Southwest bound is approved, runway 34 right, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, southwest bound, 50 kilo. Would that be a left turnout for 50 kilo?
Hey, affirmative, it's your discretion, our traffic at the moment.
My discretion, I'll make the left turnout for 50 kilo.
Just 01 echo for the jump through.
Alright, 34 on the ground. Come up on 34, compass. Heels down. Lights, camera, action.
Sun River Airport, automated weather observation 1906 Zulu. Wind 360 at 10 knots. Peak gusts 17 knots. Visibility more than 10 0. Sky condition clear below 12,000. Temperature 17 Celsius. Dew point 0 Celsius. Altimeter 3024 inches of mercury.
Sun River traffic, since the passenger kilo, we're on 45 for left downwind, 36, full stop landing at Sun River.
97, 62407, inbound runway 34, low approach, on a 8-mile final, 6240.
Wind 020 at 14 knots. Visibility more than 10. Sky condition clear below 12,000. Temperature 17 Celsius. Dew point -2 Celsius. Altimeter 3024 inches of mercury.
Don't think about that bush. And this motherfucker. Just land this baby. Alright, there's a beam. Let's go down. Got first notch in. Start our way down. Sun River traffic sits at 50 kilos, west base for 36 at Sun River.
Shaded with someone I'm not really into. Do you need to fix it? Talking bullshit.
Oh, get slow.
It's hard to see you when your eyes look dull.
5,000 feet to do
Who's
with
gonna
here.
save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue.
Sun River traffic sits at 50 kilos, returning final for 36, full stop, Sun River.
Bad news. Sort of whippy and jaded, but let's not talk about you. Your coyote song
Okay.
on a rerun. Are you hound dog tired singing all night long?
Come on, get on final here.
Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you not blue? Not blue. Not
Nice and easy.
blue
There we go.
blue moon.
Dead center line. Dead center line. Keep dead center line.
Since I ran into you, do you need a picture? Well, I get
That's the spot right there. Oh my god, you can still see the dirt.
It's hard to take one when your iPhone's full. Who's gonna save you? Who's gonna make you
It is pretty gusty here.
not blue?
Isn't it? Windy at Sun River.
Not blue. Not blue.
Sun River traffic since 50 kilos, clear 36. We're taxiing over to the fuel tanks.
just successfully landed at Sun River in my Stinson. And the ramp's changed a little bit, but and so has the management. But we're here finally, and the winds did not disappoint. It's pretty gusty. I don't know if the camera's going to pick up the wind, but it's a good solid 14 knots with some gusts. So we're going to ask the airport manager if we can get out there and take a look at the spot, the actual place where I flipped over. So let's go see if we can do that. This is the spot. This is really right where it happened. I touched down just past the refrigerators, and or right before them. If they hadn't had resurfaced the runway, you might have seen the tire marks coming off the side of the runway. But right into this kind of like this little aggregate stuff. It's like lava stone, and it's kind of cushioned some of the blow, but when you're upside down, that's hard to that's hard to buff out. So, but what I was avoiding was this bush right over here. It's that, and when that's coming up at you at like, I don't know, 45, 50 miles an hour, you kind of freak out. I jumped on both brakes, and she went right over. I mean, it was so fast. You have no idea how fast it was. So, but yeah, this was the spot. So, but today we were able to make a good landing and prove we can actually handle the winds here at Sun River. So we're going to continue on. We're going to go down to Columbia, California, and visit some more Stinsonites. So come along. Now, I'm not some rich and famous YouTuber asking you to like and subscribe to this channel. I'm an aviator asking you to like and subscribe to this channel, because that's the way YouTube works. If you don't click those buttons, YouTube doesn't know that you want to see more aviation content and won't show you more. But if you don't like what you've seen, please leave me a nasty comment down below, because that's the way the internet works. May all your flying be good flying. I've been an A&P mechanic for 30 decades. You're not aware, or if you're just new to this channel, I have been an airframe and power plant mechanic for well over 30 decades. 30 decades? 30 decades. Wow. God damn it. All right. What are we up? Take 5?